Hey guys, Lumpy Thumb here. I'm going to do a Lumpy Thumb short. Going to cook a little quick meal. This is one that I've already did a test on in my home kitchen, but I'm going to do a little bit extra to it. This is something that this is a recipe that reenactors can use that would be very period appropriate through the back into the Revolutionary War, if not earlier. A lot of the techniques and ingredients that I use would be readily available back then. In fact, were commonly available. So to keep this short, I've already processed all my fuel. To do that, I used my Self-Reliance Outfitters build-it-yourself knife, number 2 blank, and I used my Greenhaven Forge hatchet, and that did all my processing for my fuel. One of the things I've got here is some salt-cured bacon. I make this myself because it quite honestly, it's kind of hard to come by. One of the good things about this is salt-cured bacon doesn't require any refrigeration. I made this back in I want to say June or July, and it's cured and it's bacon. So we're going to use it as one of our proteins for our food. I'm going to go ahead and use this beautiful table that nature has seen fit to provide us with to slice this up, because I didn't bring any kind of cutting board. Another thing about salt-cured bacon is that you don't have to worry about unless you're going to soak this like I normally suggest you do. Because I'm not going to soak this today, I don't really have the time. I'm just going to cut this up. The benefit, like I said, to having salt-cured bacon is I'm not going to have to add any salt to this meal. In fact, it might be way on the salty side, even without adding salt and all the other things I'm going to add to it. So I'm just going to give this salt-cured bacon a quick chop, put it into cubes, something that'll cook down a little bit. Make it a little bit easier to cook at least. Put that off to the side. And another thing I've got here is beef jerky. Now, or dried beef. This isn't quite the dried beef you would find in your local gas station or convenience store. This is salt and pepper only, and it has been dried to a crisp. I mean, it doesn't break apart, but it's crackly. This isn't going to be the stuff that has a moisture content like you would find in any store. It's much drier, like our ancestors would have used with their smoked meats, with their jerked meats. It simply lasts longer out in the field than something with a moisture content to it. So I'm going to get this cut up too, and we're going to get in the water right away so it can have the maximum amount of time to rehydrate and come back to some semblance of the beef that it was before I dried it. There we go. Beef, pork. And I'm going to go ahead and get this in on the boil so that it starts softening up. Be back with you. Okay guys, so I've got the bacon in the cup over the fire. I'm going to try and reduce it a little bit, try and get it broken down a little bit, softened up some. Then I'll add my water, then I'll add my beef, and then I'll add my veg. See you in a little bit. Okay, now that salt-cured bacon's had a minute to render down and get soft, I went ahead and added some water to it so it didn't scorch to the bottom of this cup. So let's go ahead and get our beef jerky in there, add some more water, and then I'm going to add the veg, but I'm going to talk to you about that as I do it. So let's go ahead and get this done. So the veg that I brought would have been common to, even going back to Old England, before colonization. I've got, in this bag, I've got turnip, I've got some onion, I've got carrot, and I've got parsnips. Any of these would have been commonly available, and they travel fairly well if you don't cut them, if you leave them whole. So I'm going to go ahead and get this added. I also have some leafy green. This is kale, but when I first tried this recipe, it was a beautiful 3-leaf green. It was late season. It had a shiny top, a very fuzzy bottom. It grew in leaves of 3. Delicious, delicious. So let's go ahead and get our veg added. And I'm going to get the lid on this thing, and we're going to let her cook. Just FYI, the Ziploc bags were not commonly available in the 18th and 19th century, but they just so happen to be pretty common in Lumpy's kitchen, and that's what I had to carry my veg. So that's what it is. So with this kale, I know a lot of people don't like kale. I love it. Just strip the leaves off the ribs, give it a little tear so that you're not eating huge chunk of leaf. Get that added in. A little bit more water. Always take your trash out with you. Don't be one of those people that leaves your trash for other folks to find. Don't be one of them. Hell, even my kids could tell you that. So we put our lid on, and we let it go. I'll see you guys in about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour. Lumpy thumb. Hey guys, I'm just going to cut in real quick. This has been boiling pretty good for a little bit, probably a good 20 minutes. Like I said, I don't need to add any more salt, but when I made this at home, I made it with a good bit of pepper, and I'm going to add some of that, a good bit, at least a half a teaspoon. Probably wish I've added more. So, probably a little more. Another little splash. This is just a Coleman spice container I keep. Ground pepper on one side and salt on the other side. This just so happens at the moment to have pink Himalayan salt in it. And then I keep the whole thing bound together with the, people call it a Ranger band. It's just a piece of bicycle inner tube that I cut up. Got that for free from a bike shop in Bloomington, Illinois. Went in there and asked them if they had any inner tubes with holes in them, and they thought that was the weirdest request. Sure they did, so there it is. Keeps them lids down tight. And my spices from going all over inside of my haversack. So I'm going to get the lid back on this thing. And let it continue to cook. See back, and it's cooking a lot faster than I thought it would, folks. So I'll probably only be at this about another 20-30 minutes, and we'll be ready to eat. See you then. Okay, guys, this is getting pretty close to done. When I did this at home to test it out, it wound up being pretty much a root soup, and I wanted something thicker, a little bit more rib sticking for people that are out trekking, you know, running trap lines, doing stuff out in the woods. So I brought something else that's period correct. It's parched corn. I parched this when I got home from work this morning, and then I ground it up. So what I'm going to do is add just a couple spoonfuls of this parched corn that I ground up in an attempt to thicken this up a little bit, to make it more of a stew consistency. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'm going to do it, and we're going to see what the oh gosh, that stuff got stiff quick. But good, bad, or indifferent. Maybe I'm going to have little corn dumplings in there, or maybe it actually will thicken it up. We'll see. You know, this is an experiment. See you in about 10 minutes. We're going to give this a shot, see how it tastes, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up. See you then. Okay, guys, so here we have it. I'm going to call this root stew. Like I said, it's carrots, turnips, parsnips. There's a little bit of kale in there, and that was the original recipe with salt and pepper. And since I'm out here and I love to go off script, I went ahead and added meat, which was salt cured bacon and beef jerky. And let's go ahead and pour some of this out into the bowl. I don't know if you guys can see this, how thick this looks. Yeah, it looks like we scorched a little bit on the bottom. You know what? We'll leave that in there. I'll wash it out when I get home, when Lumpy gets home from his trek. So, big thanks to Self-Reliance Outfitters for the cooking vessel with the fitted lid. Worked out great, as it has many times in the past. It's just I've never actually taken any video of me using it before. This is the nesting water bottle that goes with it. This is the hanger that I used. All of these things are available on the Self-Reliance Outfitters website. So, less said the better. Let's go ahead and get into this. That cornmeal, not cornmeal, the parched corn that I ground up really did thicken this up a lot. It turned it from a soup into a really stew-like consistency. And the fact that I could get by using only 2 spoonfuls was great, because this recipe could also be used with potatoes. In fact, I would hazard the guess to say that with potatoes this would be just that much better. But because of my diabetes, I can't have potatoes. I'm really not supposed to have corn, but I figured 2 spoonfuls of cornmeal in just a little bowl of soup, it's probably not going to kill me right away. Anyway, so let's give this a taste and see how we did. Man, it's salty. It's not too salty, but it is salty. Just that one little piece of salt pork, or salt cured bacon. I tell you what, guys, you don't need to carry salt if you carry salt cured bacon. It adds plenty of salt to your meals. This is this is actually pretty good. Still crazy hot. I didn't keep any kind of time. You know what? Never mind. You guys don't care about time. It didn't take the full hour that I thought it would. At least I don't think so, because I didn't keep any kind of time tracking device. But it did take a little bit of time, because roots, they have to cook. But that salt cured bacon and that beef jerky cooked up super tender. I can't say that it fully rehydrated, but it gives a nice meat flavor compared to the soup that I made the other day with just the roots. The root soup that I made the other day with just the carrots, the parsnips, and the turnips, and onions. It was actually kind of sweet to my palate. Being a diabetic, I can't eat a lot of sugar, so when I cook stuff like this, stuff that is inherently sweet really tastes sweet to me. So adding the meat really toned down that sweetness to it. But if you don't want to add the meat, you don't have to at all. This would be fine without it. Absolutely fine without it. In fact, it would even be more affordable, easier to pack. One less thing to worry about is carrying a couple chunks of meat with you. So I'm going to have to give this a thumbs up. It tastes great. And like I said, if you guys are reenactors, like I pretend to be, I'm developing an 1822 personality, and this would fit right in with that. Everything in here is something that they would have access to readily, almost at any time of year. Maybe not so much in the extreme winter months and the early spring. Early spring seems to be a lot of the starving time for. I'm getting off track. Lumpy Short, good stew. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. That way you can get more content. Please leave a comment so I know that you liked it. If you didn't like it, and I finally got my first thumbs down, but they didn't leave a comment as to why they didn't like it. It doesn't bother me that people don't like my stuff, because honestly I don't care. But if you don't like it, tell me why, so that maybe I can make it better for you. Maybe it would make it better for me too. But go to my Facebook page. If you just type in Lumpy Adventures, it's gonna pop up. And because I don't spend a lot of time, because I'm not terribly new at this, but I'm new enough that I don't remember my own Facebook page. But it's Lumpy Thumb Adventures in bushcraft, woodcraft, and sustainability, I think. Whatever. Type in Lumpy Thumb Adventures. You're gonna get it. Join the page, like it, give it a thumbs up in there, and you'll get a little heads up, a preview for things that I've got coming up. Contests. My last video I had a contest. I still haven't drawn a winner yet. That's going to happen in a couple days. For some folding camp stoves that I reviewed. And I just appreciate you guys for watching. Those of you that, the few of you that do, thank you. And we'll see you later. Lumpy thumb. Look at that thing. It's all lumped up.